Well, hey everybody, welcome. Dr. G. Alpha Palmer here, and I want to thank you for joining me today. Um, Before we get started, I'm dressed in black today um, in recognition to the passing of a giant in religion by the name of Frederick K.C. Price, the pastor of the Crenshaw Christian Center in, I believe it's Los Angeles, California. I want to recognize him because he has been um, an anchor for many people over the decades, at least 5 decades. And so I want to take this time to thank him and recognize him as someone who has done great things for many people in many people's lives. So I want to thank him for that. Well, I'm here in my studio, and I'm still trying to get things prepared because it's going to take a while to get where I want. So I decided to just go ahead and start because I've received guidance that said that it's best to go ahead and get started as opposed to just waiting um, for something that probably will never get here as far as excellent or finishing, getting ready. So I need to start. I needed to start recording. So here I am. Here I am to record um, the today's this evening's whenever you're watching this topic is biblical masculinity. Now, why is that important? Well, it's important because we are in trouble. We are in trouble worldwide where it comes to when it comes to what is masculinity and the proper use of it. So, what I want to do is to um, give us the um, some things to think about relative to biblical biblical um, masculinity. Now this is what I need to say as a caveat as a beginning. I am not a religious person. Um, I'm a spiritual person that believes in biblical principle. I believe I believe the biblical narrative, or what we call the Bible, is not a religious book. I believe that it's a book for humanity, for any individual that chooses to exercise by the principles therein. So if a person chooses to live by the biblical standards, then they will reap the benefits of those standards because those standards are principles, not for a few, but for humanity. We've made the Bible or the biblical narrative a religious book, but it is not a religious book. Some folks are going to have some issues with that. I know, but that's fine. We're not going to agree with on everything, but I'm going to submit to you for consideration that it is not. And on the basis of that premise, I submit the following: that biblical masculinity, or masculinity as we need to come back to, or I mean, I'm not even sure if we've ever really arrived only at one point, and that was in the personhood of Jesus. Now, again, that's not religious. That's spiritual, because I'm not talking about Jesus in a religious context. But as we go along, you'll understand what I mean. Maybe not today, but we'll get a better feel. Now, I want to start from the beginning. It's the best place to start. Is from the beginning. The beginning would show us that first and foremost, that I've gone through some hurdles with people relative to this statement that I'm getting ready to make, and that is, We were not born males and females. We were not born males and females. And every, I've talked with many people about it, and they say, well, we are females and males, and that you're sadly mistaken if you think that we're not, and that it's the species. It is the designation for the human species of both. And I submit to you that that is not true. And so what we're going to do is we're going to look at it, but because we're looking at biblical masculinity, it still goes for femininity too, but we're not going to be looking at femininity today. But we're definitely going to be coming back to that. So let's get into it. The first thing we need to understand is that we are not born male and female. We're not. We are born in a way that is critical to our development. See, we have a tendency to look at the physical makeup of a thing to determine development, but that is not what biblical development is. That is not the proper idea of human development. The proper idea of human development is that our development is not physiological, but psychological. And because it's psychological, what we have to understand is that because it's psychological, we have to learn, and we have to be taught, and we have to develop through stages. And what I call, you see the board behind me is basically what I'm relaying. But as you can see, it goes clear across, and I'm not going to be able to relate all of this today. But I'm starting at the very, very beginning of it, and it's just a minute piece. I'm not going to give you much at all today, but I want us to understand that we are not physiologically determined as reaching stages, but we are psychologically developed to reach stages. Now, the first stage that we reach, we've been told, is male and female. It is not. The first stage that we reach is when we are born. We are born as one or two things: a boy or a girl. That's how we're born. And that is important because we come into into this earth, into this realm, as boys and girls. That's the only thing that we come into. That's the only thing that we can come into. And those things are not determined by our physical determination. It's our psychological. And so as an infantile it designates that someone that really, really is young to the point of lacking development. When a child is born, it's born a boy or a girl. How do we know that? Well, it's very easy to determine. Before a child is born, and we have now today, we didn't have these when I was born, but we have these reveal parties where the child is determined to be either blue or pink. And so when we determine that it's blue or pink, do we say that that's male and female? No, we don't, do we? What do we say? We say blue designates what? That it's a boy. And if it's pink, it designates that it's a girl. Right? Not a male and a female, but a boy and a girl. Well, I'll take it even a step further. When the child is born and they get placed in the bassinet in the nursery, and there is a little blue or pink sign over top of them, what does it say? Does it say male or female? No, it doesn't. It says boy or girl. Boy and girl. Now, what we do is we have been taught to think of it from a physiological standpoint, and it's because of that we look at boys and girls differently. But if we were to understand that the boy and the girl are developmentally at the same levels, we will begin to understand that we don't have to depend upon their gender to determine whether they are um, one is equal to the other or not. They are equal. We They are equal. The boy and girl comes to earth equal. They both are infants. They are infants. They are babies. They need to be taught to be developed. Okay. From 0 to 1, ages 0 to 1, or even to going to age 2, starting at age 2, they're infants and toddlers. They go from infants to toddlers. Twos are toddlers. But that first year is a growing. They learn certain things, and it's important for us to understand that there is a difference between the two, but the difference is not what makes them unequal. They are equal, but not the same. I'll say that again. They are equal, but not the same. You can't have one without the other. Now, I'm going to really say something that's going to upset some people, but that's okay. There's going to be a lot of things that I'm going to say that's going to upset a lot of people, and I know that, and I'm prepared to take the hit for it because I have to do what I have to do. Now, when you were born, even before you were born, the universe decided what you would be, and what you are, what you came to this earth as, is the universe's determination of what is necessary for you to fulfill your universal or divine purpose. That the best way for you to fulfill your individual purpose is in the suit that you came in. Okay. And not only that, but your suit that you came in, that is boy or girl, determines the importance of being in that suit. A boy or a girl is important. So you coming as a boy or girl determines, it is a physical manifestation of your design. It's the universe's determination of what you're to be. Some people come here and they don't like what they are. But the bottom line is the universe has decided what you are and what is going to be the best way for you to fulfill the reason that you were born. And so what we have to learn is we have to learn to appreciate what we came here as. You came here, if you came here as a boy, you came here as a boy for a reason. If you came here as a girl, equally, you came here for a reason. Both are different. They're not the same, but they both are equal. They both are equal. Now, I think I don't want to go too far, too fast. As you see, I got a lot of information back there behind me, a long, long way to go. And we're not going to get to it all in one fell swoop. It's going to take time. It's going to take time. So I want you to understand this, that being that you were born as a boy and a girl. You were born either a boy or a girl, not and. That's the problem. Some of us we're confused. But what you have to understand is the suit that you came in designates what you are to fulfill your individual purpose. It's just like any other suit that is. A football player goes out in a suit, and that suit determines the team that they're on, and it protects them from the enemy, from what would come against them. And the best way for them to ward off anything that comes against them is by them being able to fully use the uniform or the equipment that they've come in. It's the same thing with us. the best way for us to ward off the attacks that will come our way is to understand and appreciate and to hold on to what we came here as. Okay? That's I'm going to stop right there because we're gonna continue this as we go on. But biblical masculinity says that you were born not as an accident. You are not an accident, nor are you a mistake. You're a very intentional idea of the universe or God, however you want to call it. You're a very intentional idea in the mind of the universe. And so you're not a mistake. You're not an error, right? You're not an accident. By virtue of you being born, you come here to render something. You are important. So it's important for you to understand that you are. Now we're gonna talk about a lot of things as we continue to go on, because this is very important, because this whole idea of you coming to earth, you being born, covers some very important topics: purpose, potential, leadership, right? Relationship. We're going to cover it all. We're going to cover it all. But we're not going to cover it from a religious standpoint. See, because some people are trying to propose or trying to push religion. I'm not here to do that. But I'm here to use the biblical narrative as a backdrop. See, because every one of us has a foundation. Now, the question is, what foundation is it that you have? I want up front for you to know that my foundation is biblical. It is biblical, but it is not religious. It is not religious. And again, the biblical narrative is not a religious book, even though it's been made one. Just because something is called that doesn't mean that it is. You've been called a lot of things, but are you those things that you were called? No, you're not. You're more than that. Whatever they called you, whatever you were called, you're more than that. And because you're more than that, we have to understand that we are moving to another level, and it's time. It's time. So I just want to thank you for this time, and to invite you to come back, because the next step, oh buddy, it's Dr. J. Alfred Palmer. Peace.